I'll raise it up. Negative to using a Jeep like this with a mower is you get into a tight corner and the Jeeps do not turn very sharply. If you all know, I have old fender, flat fender Jeeps, you know what I'm talking about. They don't turn exactly as sharp as you'd like them to. So it is kind of a problem getting a unit like this into a tight corner in a field thing to back up and all that. And these things don't back up very well either. They kind of want to go wherever they want to go. So. But I'm going to take it out and around the pad here a little bit, just demonstrate how it actually operates. This Jeep has a single lever PTO on it, whereas Scott's had a 2-lever, so it only goes to the back. But it runs the gear back. I do have a belt pulley that you will see on some of the Jeeps. I do have the belt pulley attachment for this as well. So this Jeep is set up to be both direct drive application or belt work. Belt grinders, sellers, elevators, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'll jump in and fire up and take it around the loop and you can see just what the push boat does.
Out for the small children. It's just hilarious.
Not very exciting, but it gets the job done.
See some of their twos where people cut out and put a little box.
Thank you, folks.
They had the valves and stuff.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Put this together. It's kind of mishmash, a little bit of everything to make this work. What we did before, we had a corn grinder that we'd set up. We grind the corn. We usually had Scott's chassis hooked to the PTO, to the elevator. It went into a gravity bed wagon. Then we fed it in here and mixed it. And this here was probably used for cement or something like that at one time. Or if you guys want to buy something like this for your wife, she can make all kinds of cakes for you. But we'll fire this thing up and run it for a little bit. Most of these Jeeps here, they've got what they call a governor on them on the engine. And you got a control thing here, you pull it out, whatever RPM you want the engine to stay at. And you get it under a load, it automatically throttles itself back up. It's like if you run a stationary piece of equipment or something like that. And I think this one here's got one on it. Well, this is your governor right here, which is hooked to your throttle linkages and stuff. And that controls your RPMs on your engine when you're sitting still.
Were the dual wheels something that Jeep offered?
Yeah, yeah. Now that's the adapter kit that they made for them. Now some of them, like the Baco Jeep, that's what the FC170 rear end in it. Dual wheels. The Trencher Jeep's got adapters on it. So we got to find our saw men. Scott. Yeah. You ready to saw? Yes. We're going to come over here. We're going to saw some wood. This is a 46 with a column shift on it. Kind of a rare, different type vehicle. It's equipped pretty much the same way with the governor and with all that stuff on it. So I ran this last year and they took me off of it for a reason. I don't know why. So we're gonna let Scott here. We're gonna let Scott here demonstrate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go there? Yeah. Okay. Well, yes, we'll go to the trencher. Okay. All right, we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit here. We'll go over here. We're going to run the trencher for a little bit, and then we'll come back with the chainsaw here when the operator gets back. We'll walk over here.
The first one here is a 1954 CJ3B with an early style Auburn Jeep trencher on it. These are all gear driven off the PTO, all mechanically done with chains and belts and sprockets. They upgraded after a few years of that. Then they decided to go gear over hydraulic. So the PTO runs the gearbox, which runs the hydraulic pump. So then everything else is hydraulically ran inside instead of gear driven. A lot less chains and things moving. This one here we bought in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was actually owned by a construction company in Fort Wayne that they purchased new in 1954. They used it on their for their construction. If you look on the side, you can still see the 4-digit phone number on the side and the name of their company. We bought it from a farmer up in Fort Wayne that bought it from the company back in the 70s. He had it on his farm, never titled it, never registered it. Still had all the original paperwork from when that company bought it in '54 and had the trencher put on it. They had it put on by their Jeep dealership there in Fort Wayne. This one has the dual rear tires on the back, has the overload coils, has the front grader blade, and they changed a few things from the factory. They moved the exhaust and brought it up the side just so you're not standing back here breathing fumes as you're running it. And then they also made it a push button start, which is on the left side, so you can start the Jeep over here and not have to be climbing in and out of it. They all do have clutch controls. One of the levers is the clutch. Same thing on here. One of these levers does do the clutch, so you don't have to get in and out of the Jeep to push the clutch in to shut the machine down. This one here is a little bit older. It runs, it works, it drives fine. It just don't like to dig too much dirt with it. It's a little bit fragile. It's hard to find those parts. This one here works great. This one we picked up in northern Michigan. It was actually used by an electrical company in Chicago, Illinois. Pretty much the same scenario. The guy that bought it from another individual that bought it from this company back in the 80s. They had used it for a long time, still had the original title with that electrical company's name and all their information on it. That company is still in business today up in Chicago. They do like street lights and street signs and things like that. So this again was used, most of its life doing commercial work. When we picked this one up, it had 97 miles on it. So I would imagine it was trailered everywhere it went, but it probably has 10,000 hours on the engine. This one has 1,400 miles, so it looks like they might have driven it. And they did that one. Yeah, we'll start it up here and get it going. asked about how it drives itself forward. So on the bottom of the transfer case around the emergency brake drum, they press a gear that goes all the way around the emergency brake drum. So right now the transfer case is in neutral, but the transmission, you can pick which gear you want it depending on the dirt conditions, the size of your trench. We usually run it in about second, and that was in second gear. You can speed it up or slow it down by putting in the 3 different gears. But what happens is there's a lever underneath the Jeep that you take and push, and it has a little linkage that spins a gear over that touches that transfer case. The PTO unit, as it's spinning, running the hydraulic pump, there's another shaft that comes back this way that spins that gear. Okay. And as that gear spins, it just takes that transfer case emergency brake drum and turns it, which changes it to creep forward. And drives everything. And you can actually change the speed of it by moving this lever forward, getting a little bit more speed, slow it down, and it'll creep forward. To keep it in a straight line, this one we took off just because it's a pain to drive with it on, but that one has it. There's a little bracket that mounts the steering wheel. It comes up. Once you get it going the way you want it, it's got a big hand screw. You tighten it up and it just holds the steering wheel in a straight line. Several different options when you look. We got all the manuals and parts lists for this when you bought it. Some of them came with a front winch system. And so instead of having the gear driven on the transfer case, you would have to have an anchor point, a winch.
So we put it up for sale, and that's how we latched onto it. Backhoe units built by Go 4 Digger, and they also made trenchers. And these was put on at the plant. The Go 4 Digger had a facility there right on the grounds of Jeep. They done these conversions. An FC170, Model 70 rear end in the back of it. 4-cylinder. Got down pressure on all hydraulics.
Mouse took off there when he lifted that blade up.
He's probably been living there for generations.
He could have come out of that Jeep.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. They seem to like them. It's like the smell of gasoline or something. Yeah. See? Told you I could do it.
Gentlemen, going to demonstrate this hydraulic chainsaw. This is a 1953 CJ3B that belongs to Mr. Ittle. He made this lift boom for the front of it so you can use the winch to lift stuff with. If you look inside of it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 shifters in here. So you definitely don't want to be drunk and run this thing. That's the only way I could get it to go. And another thing, after the demonstration, if you want to ask any of these guys about what's going on, feel free to talk to them, except for this one right here. If you want to talk to him, approach him slowly and talk slow. There's something wrong with him. But anyway. Hey, Rick, we're still lining up to help.
I don't think you're.
Oh, he heard it.
I don't think he heard it.
Yeah, he heard it.
Listen. Hopefully this thing isn't really